Hey there, this is Jim Donovan. Welcome to the show. I am glad you're here. Today, I'd like to talk about why I chose to jump headfirst into an identity crisis. Before we get started, I'd like to invite you to take advantage of a free resource I made for you. It's called the Sound Health Newsletter. In it, I share the latest research in music and health. Plus, you'll learn music and wellness exercises that you can use every day to feel your best. Just come visit me at donovanhealth.com to get started today. That's donovanhealth.com. Now, I'd like to tell you a little story about why I walked away from a dream come true. In early 2005, I made a major life decision to leave the band that had helped me live out my rock star dreams. Over a period of 15 years, all the things I'd ever fantasized about as a musician came to fruition. We played stadium shows, shared the stage with music legends, signed autographs, heard our music on the radio and TV, and even got it featured in a few popular films. So many dreams came true. But as wonderful as all of that was, I was constantly thinking about three much more important things that I had back home. My kids, Tupelo, Ella, and Oliver. And of course, my wife, Tracy. At the time, my kids were all under the age of 5, and we all missed each other terribly. They needed their dad, and I needed to be there. After much discussion with my wife, Tracy, I decided it was time to make the jump. The problem was, once I was finally at home for good, I had a bit of an identity crisis. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely adored being with my family. But when I left the band, I also left behind the major thing I centered my identity around, which was being the drummer from Rusted Root. Not surprisingly, I became depressed. But at the same time, I still had to find a way to help pay the bills and support my family. So I focused on the one thing I felt I knew like the back of my hand. I turned to the drums. Only now I was teaching drumming. Soon thereafter, my fog of depression began to lift, and I really have to credit the drumming with helping me dig out of this dark hole. When I played along with my groups, I began to feel more and more at peace. My worries evaporated, and I found myself laughing more. Sometimes my face even ached from smiling. I realized that I was getting just as much, if not more, out of my workshops than my attendees some days. Not only did they help ease my depression, they also helped me establish a new place for myself in the world. Teaching showed me I could indeed be something else other than the drummer from Rusted Root. In fact, this realization motivated me to dig more deeply into the science of using music for healing. I began poring over the research so I could not only teach people how to drum, but also educate them on the health benefits and why music can help you heal. Now, I'm always on the lookout for more new studies, techniques, and breakthroughs that demonstrate the healing abilities of sound and vibration and rhythm in music. Speaking of which, here's one study that particularly resonated with me, especially after experiencing the firsthand benefits drumming had on my struggle with depression. In a recent 2016 study featured in the Public Library of Science Journal, researchers observed whether drumming could help improve symptoms of various mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, and social resilience, which is the ability to cope with or adjust to external stress or shock. The study involved 45 adults who were already receiving mental health treatment. They were split into two groups. One participated in 10 weeks of 90-minute group drumming classes, while the others engaged in a community-based social activity. Compared to the non-drumming group, researchers found that the drumming group experienced a significant range of health advantages, including their feelings of depression decreasing 24% by week 6 and then 38% by week 10. Social resilience improved from 16% by week 6 to 23% by week 10. And the overall improvement in well-being jumped from an average of 8% on week 6 to 16% by week 10. And lastly, anxiety decreased by 9% by week 6, and then by week 10, it decreased by 20%. And the best part is that all of these significant changes were maintained during a follow-up 3 months later with the participants. Of course, I can personally attest to the mood-boosting effects of music, but don't just take my word for it. Here are just a few of the ways drumming has enhanced the lives of some of my workshop students. One person says, "Mood swings don't sabotage my day anymore. I can calm myself with simple breathing and tapping techniques, and I feel much more in control in managing my life." Another person said, "I have found drumming, breathing, and tapping techniques to have a huge impact on relieving my stress. Some are easily accessed at any time and in any place, which has been wonderful for my mental and physical stress symptoms." A third person said, "How do Jim's techniques affect me physically? Well, I stand taller, I sleep better, I feel better, more refreshed, and more present." Keep on going! Sounds beautiful! If you'd like to give group drumming a try, here are 3 ways that you can get started. First, find a drum circle near you. Try looking online first. You could check sites like Meetup or Facebook or even Eventbrite and just plug in the search term drum circle. If the event doesn't indicate that it's for beginners, or if they provide drums, contact the organizer and just ask them. Many of these people actually have extra drums that they can let you borrow. A second way is to stay tuned to my Sound Health Facebook events page. I facilitate occasional circles all over the country, and I also educate people on how they can do it with their own communities. And then lastly, you could look on YouTube for play-along video tutorials. Just search Drum Along Rhythms, and you'll find a wealth of drumming to play along to. And third, you can search Drum Circle Leadership on YouTube. That's my drumming videos site, and you'll find lots of free tutorials there where you can drum along with me. Lastly, there's one thing I want you to know. You do not need to be a trained musician to reap the effects of group drumming. In fact, it's completely fine if you've never played an instrument a day in your life. Drumming is one of the easiest ways to help elevate your mood naturally, and best of all, it's free. The only requirement is a willingness to try. I'd love to hear how this works for you. Feel free to drop me a line and tell me how it's going on the Jim Donovan Sound Health Facebook page, or just drop me an email at feedback@donovanhealth.com. Well, that's it for today. I appreciate you tuning in. Remember to come see us on our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Just search Jim Donovan Sound Health. Now, before you go, I'd like to let you know about a free resource I made for you. It's called the Sound Health Newsletter. In it, I share the latest research in music and health in an easy-to-understand form. I also share beginner-friendly music and wellness exercises that you can use every day to feel your best. When you sign up, you also get discounts and first access to all of my Sound Health products and events. Remember, it's completely free. If you'd like it, just visit donovanhealth.com and enter your name and email address, and I'll start sending you new issues right away. While you're on the website, you can also read full transcripts of this show and check out a ton of other valuable resources. If you have any feedback, send me an email to feedback@donovanhealth.com. All the information presented on this show is for educational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Lastly, come and visit me on our Sound Health Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channels. I'd love to see you there. The Sound Health Podcast is produced by OmniVista Health Learning and Donovan Health Solutions. For Sound Health, this is Jim Donovan. See you next time.